Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 8 of season 2 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yes, back though today for the French GP. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live a few days ago now from Canada, highly recommend going back and checking it out. So far this season, we seem to be heading in the right direction in the moment. Of course, spoilers will be in just 1 second, so that is your warning there. But yeah, things gone rather well. We're picking up some momentum as we head sort of in towards the European phase of the campaign there. See, car performance, we've got a couple more upgrades in the works, which might bring us ahead of Alpine and right up with AlphaTauri there. And I mean, if we're starting to fight, you know, sort of around Ferrari McLaren level, that would be really good in towards the second half of the year there. Championship-wise, we're currently sat in 9th place, 31 points for ourselves after a brilliant Azerbaijan Grand Prix a couple of races ago there. Russell as well in P13 leaves us currently 6th in the Constructors' Championship ahead of Alpine there, a little boy behind Ferrari and AlphaTauri. But yeah, heading to LE-CASTELLET though this weekend has often been a track that's gone quite well for us on F1 2021. Let's see what we can muster up here today. Of course, if you're not already, do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. Trying to hit 40k subs at the moment. We've now smashed through 37k, well on our way to 38,000 as well. I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support. But yeah, let's dive in then here to qualifying for the French GP. The 2022 F1 season kicks off in just a couple of weeks' time. And now with all the car reveals out the way, we have got official merch drops from basically every F1 team. Available now, the Aston Martin 2022 range, as well as the all-new Williams pack. And then, of course, the Mercedes 2022 range drop has also been released. I'm definitely going to be copping myself some George Russell merch as well. But yeah, links down below. There is merch available for every team. And of course, if you use the links, you massively help support the channel. Right, here we are then, qualifying day from LE-CASTELLET. Always, like I said, I think last year we had our best qualifying session of the year, putting up at about P13, I want to say, around this track. And then I think we scored our first points as well last season at this venue. Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty certain it was the case there. As we head through the first couple of corners this season round, car feels pretty quick round here. It does definitely suit the car's characteristics, of course, again. LE-CASTELLET, very weirdly, a very power-orientated circuit. But, yeah, don't feel 100% confidence, though, with the machinery underneath me this weekend. Of course, I think always just a bit too used to the My Team car as well there. But, yeah, let's just see what we can do. We've got one of the Ferraris all over the back of us as well. Fingers crossed they won't try to look for anything. Well, Sebastian Vettel in his Aston Martin had set the benchmark on a 29.6 there, but Checo goes straight into the 27s in his Red Bull. We run a little bit wide over the curbing there as just the second half of this lap starting to come away from me slightly. Charles Leclerc, I'm sure not a fan of this, as Verstappen pops a couple of tenths on his teammate's head, but round in the final couple of turns then. Oh, Charles Leclerc tried to have a look for it through the final corner there. You'll have to wait your turn, mate, as we head up towards the line. DRS activated. Is it going to be a sub 29? No, it's not. We pretty much matched Seb's time there, as Leclerc slots in just in front. But yeah, Charles Leclerc not happy with me by the looks of it, and we'll jump out of the way. Right, going to try and do our second lap then. Seems like Russell's got about 4 tenths over me at the moment, so we want to be looking to try and get down in towards the 28s if we keep it clean and tidy. Like I said, just struggling a bit with the car, as that's a lot better through the first couple of corners. They're immediately finding a tenth and a half or so. Maybe the grip level's just increasing slightly. It's exactly what we want. Still just not finding the time we really want to be as the lap goes on there. In fact, really, after the first couple of turns, we haven't gained anything at all as this lap has unfolded there. Try and gain a bit as we head out the final corner. And even then, just getting a little bit overzealous on the throttle. It is going to be an improvement, but not by much. Only ups us ahead of Sir Lancelot there. Still quarter of a second off Mr. Saturday. We've got one more run here we're going to have to nail. Right, well, everyone trying to fight over the same piece of real estate here as we get ready to start our final lap of qualifying. Kimi Räikkönen a couple of seconds in front of me there, but fingers crossed he won't hold us up, of course. 10 seconds there or thereabouts when we cross over the line. And let's really try and nail this final qualifying lap then. I'm going to go all or nothing style around here, trying to attack the curbs as best as possible as we tip it in through T1 and T2 rather nicely. Still slightly down though, we've got a really good run through there last time round. I think the problem we've had so far is just taking a bit too much speed in some of the corners, and that's cost us time in our earlier runs there. Valtteri Bottas now goes fastest on a 27.3 as we try and maximise the run out onto the Mistral straight there. And again, we're another 10.5 up as we head out onto the first part of this straight. So this is exactly what we need at the moment there. It's just losing Delta somehow as we head down the straight. Oh, struggle to get the car in where I wanted it over the curbing. Really getting on the power nice and early on the exit. Have not found time there though. They're going to be marginally up as we head in towards the final sector of this lap. This, however, has been the place where I've made a few mistakes in qualifying. It's just this one horrible, tricky left-hander that I seem to be struggling with a bit more there as we try and tip it in nice and tidily. Going to lose a little bit of time on the exit here, but this corner is where I need to try and find time, and that's exactly what we've done there. A little bit cautious. Oh, and on the way in.
Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
Oh, no! My brain just stopped functioning right at the last minute there. Let's ride on board as we head down in towards the corner there. You see, I focused so early on trying to get the car turned in nice and tidy there. We just got to squirt the throttle on the exit. Tried to keep the throttle in to make the time up. And that is us out of qualifying in the French Grand Prix there. I think we're P15 on the grid still, which isn't the end of the world. But what an embarrassing way to go out of qualifying there, just losing it on throttle. It does happen from time to time, but not how I wanted to end the session.
All ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Hamilton and Max Verstappen. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, there we go then, qualifying done and dusted for the French Grand Prix, and it is Valtteri Bottas who lines up on the pole there ahead of Hamilton, just 9 thousandths of a second clear of Max Verstappen. Lando Norris separating the Red Bulls though, so clearly McLaren have got some good pace this weekend. They're Gasly 6th alongside Checo there, and you can see Ricciardo, both Ferraris, and Kimi Raikkonen rounding out the top 10. We're only a row behind our teammate George Russell there, as we still seem to be locked into a pace battle with Aston Martin. But yeah, starting outside the top 10 can often be quite good here in Le-Castellet, so we could be watching Yuki Tsunoda maybe now. He's missed out on a podium twice so far this year. Perhaps today could finally be his day. Let's dive in then here to the French Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Sergio Perez, and Gasly, Ricciardo, Sainz, Leclerc, and Kimi Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Ocon, George Russell, and Vettel, Mr. Monaco, Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Mick Schumacher, Latifi, and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the French Grand Prix from Le-Castellet. I almost forgot where we were then for the start of this one. But strategy today, yeah, we're going to stick with the medium hard compound tyres here. I just don't quite think this Williams is going to have the pace to hang on early on a set of hard compound tyres. The only strat you've got to remember at Le-Castellet, just stick in a DRS train and it'll carry you along there. You know, if we can stick with some of the guys right at the bottom end of the top 10 in the DRS, that would be really, really useful as well there. But Yeah, long race ahead of us today, though. 27 laps here. We've just got to try and see if we can try and sneak this thing back into the points. P15 was not where I wanted to be at the end of qualifying, but of course, Alpine are going to be pushing hard this weekend. It's a track that also suits Aston Martin, so some of our big rivals now, it's going to be very, very close there. And, you know, sort of these races are what can make the difference at the end of the year there. But ready on the grid for round 8 of 23. Now at 1/3 distance in this championship. 5 red lights. And it's going to be a long hold, but lights out, and away we go. Just a little bit of wheel spin there as we try and put the power down in towards turn 1, but not the worst start I've had on this game. It's just got to be really, really careful of the damage there through the first couple of turns. Stroll making a move work on his teammate Sebastian Vettel, so Stroll up 2 spots there. Jumping myself and the German, as suddenly we find an opening around the outside of Sebastian Vettel there, but he gives me a squeeze over the curb, and that might have explained it. Stroll on a set of soft compound tyres there at the start of this race, as we're going to try and muscle our way to the outside of the Aston Martin, but looks like one of the Ferraris heading a bit down the order.
On the ICE, be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
That's not quite what we want to hear early on in this race. It hasn't come up with a warning light yet. What are we on? 56%. That's not too bad. Shouldn't be any cause of concern this weekend. So we'll just try and lay a bit of rubber down into this French circuit. But yeah, not the best start in the world, though. Looks like Bottas has romped away early on there, and Hamilton's actually been swallowed up by Verstappen and Lando Norris there. And I think even, yeah, Sergio Perez is ahead of him, so a horrible start for championship leader Lewis Hamilton there after having a quite good run of form over the last couple of races then. Not what he would want way, way back there as all. Sebastian Vettel tried to have a sneak up the inside in through the final sector there. We've got to desperately try and get that corner right at least once this weekend. But coming towards the end of lap 1, though, Bottas, I think it is, still leads the way. But this is what I mean about the DRS train. You know, if all of us can stick together over these early laps, you know, we can really sort of get dragged along by some much faster cars. But Stroll, I think, yeah, is going to be on the offensive early. Verstappen there, just trading fastest laps with Valtteri Bottas as we come to the end of lap 2.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I wish I could turn that off from Jeff, but I think really at the moment it's only Bottas and, well, whichever Haas it is that's way out behind the rest of the field there at pit at the end of lap 1. Yeah, I think those might be the only 2 cars early on in this race that won't be getting DRS here. This is just how weird Le-Castellet is as a track on F1 at 2021. It's been the same over the last couple of games, in all honesty. Just the way the pace sort of works on the different sets of tyres there is, yeah, I mean, look at this. Everyone in a DRS train at the moment. They can't really do a lot. I'm not really sure we want to. So, of course, yeah, Stroll's probably going to be on a different strategy. But if we feel he's costing us time, we will have to look for a move and try and fight our way up towards the front of this group. You know, Alpine this weekend genuinely might have a shot at a race victory here with just how weird the strategies are. As we're now getting a run on that Stroll, sorry, I should say. We find ourselves on the inside. Canadian gives me a big old squeeze. Try to avoid contact there. Stroll kind of jumps out of the way the second time we show the nose. And I guess we are looking for a move then. Over to P14 as Stroll immediately going to try and come back at me. Yeah, we'll say no to that one.
You made it look easy.
Team happy with that though. That's what we love to hear. And yeah, just sort of firmly cementing ourselves as not the weakest team with a Mercedes power unit there, as now both Williams ahead of both Aston Martins. Still finding more and more time as each lap unfolds here early on in Le-Castellet, but looks like Sonoda and Ocon are just dropping back actually from the top 10 there. Of course, they're on, yeah, softer rubber still in this GP. So yeah, really could be a battle between Williams and Alpine today, and this is what we need to be doing over the course of this season. You know, we've kind of started the year still battling out with the Alfa Romeos and the Haas cars. We've very quickly sort of got ahead of the Aston Martins in races since then, and we just need to be... yeah, we just need to be slowly trying to pick teams off and not firing myself in towards, well, Andorra, I suppose. We might have been going that way then. Yeah, that one, Andorra or Monaco, I think we were almost off to there, but yeah, that was a big save. Oh, there we go. First pit is in as well. Looks to be Hamilton and Sergio Perez, the first ones to blink in this race, but very, very early then, so I can't imagine they're going on some hard tyres to the end. Right, let's see if there's any difference then between myself and George Russell's setups this weekend. Might be able to now get a run on our teammate as we head out onto the Mistral Straight there, using a fair bit of battery at the moment there as we have a look to the outside. And I'm beginning to believe we're running slightly lower downforce. Both Williams side by side, both Alpines trying to dispute the positions up the road there. We run horribly deep. Have sort of parking on the apex there, as we're still side by side with our teammate George Russell here on the exit onto the second part of the straight there. We might have both Aston Martins having a bit of a ding-dong as well in just a moment. It's side by side. Oh, Seb's lost his wing. That was all a bit chaotic, and we got a safety car. So team now might want us in, and this might be a blessing for the likes of Bottas and Max Verstappen there. Is it worth trying to pit hards to go to the end? But that was a very, very scary moment in this GP there. Sebastian Vettel out, so I'm guessing they all Constantine it up. Is George going to box? George Russell's going to box. We're going to gamble it then. We may as well stay out here for now. And yeah, that's really, really close there. And that has really thrown this race immediately upside down. Somehow kept out of the wall. And that's a good memento to us not to go side by side in towards turn 9. Well, this race has been thoroughly turned on its head then at the moment. So basically now we're in a bit of a weird stage of the Grand Prix where a lot of guys are still two-stopping. We're trying to one-stop, but of course we're effectively in a race with a lot of these cars. Now, the likes of Bottas and Verstappen, don't really think we're going to be able to do much against. We're now wondering whether we could try and maybe get onto a set of softs to the end of the Grand Prix. But it's basically myself and the Alpines that have really sort of thrown a spanner in the works here and are probably going to be a pain for everyone else to try and navigate later on in this GP. But Yuki Tsunoda is going to lead the way then off the restart as we head through the final couple of corners. This thing is not going to fire up its rubber at all as we head out of the final corner. And that's exactly what I mean. They're really struggling this weekend with working out what the back end's doing on this thing. Clearly have not set up the car very well. And only 3 seconds ahead of Russell as well there. Luckily by the time we get in towards turn 1, the car is working as I would expect it to be again, as immediately Bottas on the offensive. He needs to make moves work because he's gone on to another set of softs, as that was a big, big send from Valtteri there. Just about kept it within track limits as all. Verstappen was not expecting him to go for a move into the very next corner there. Again, a very, very aggressive lunge from the Dutchman. We've seen that time and time again in Formula 1 there, but now he's under pressure from Lando Norris behind him, who's also on a set of soft compound tyres. So I think Verstappen knows he needs to try and make moves quickly in this race. But we need to try and close back up now to the Alpines. Make sure we've got some DRS on them, as Bottas is certainly going to be trying to attack. Again, Verstappen having a look to the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact that time round as we force him very, very wide. And that might be the open invitation that Lando Norris required. Did not mean to do that to Verstappen. Just ran very, very deep into the corner there, as now Ocon is still trying to defend from Valtteri Bottas. There is, oh, Verstappen, third time on this lap. He's gone for a late send there, and desperation setting in for the Dutchman as he loses a handful of positions and might have picked up some front wing damage.
You'll be on the hards.
Let me know down in the comments below whose fault you thought that was, but I was not expecting that kind of lunge in towards the final turn there from Max Verstappen, as now Bottas trying to look round the outside of Esteban Ocon down in towards the middle sector. Muscles the Frenchman out wide there. I think a couple of sparks, maybe a little bit of contact. But I think, yeah, Bottas has now negotiated his way into P2. And we're now right on the cusp of DRS from Esteban Ocon when he gets re-enabled next lap. Are we now going to see Lando Norris get a run on me? Here we go, onto the Mistral Straight once more. Lando Norris, this might be a done deal. Is he going to be able to get the run in his McLaren? Pretty even, actually, on the brakes there. And I'm not just going to give up places, you know. Like I said, we are battling these guys for position later on in the day. And it's just costing me time to Esteban Ocon up the road. We wanted to be battling those Alpines, and at the moment, it's not looking possible. So Verstappen, yeah, he's into the box then at the end of the next lap there. So he definitely picked up damage. As now Gasly has somehow made a move work on Lando Norris here. What is going on in this race?
DRS is now online.
DRS now re-enabled there as we have to second guess our way through turn 1. But yeah, Gasly now, Ocon even now just watching his teammate battle it out at the front there. Nicholas Latifi now out of the Grand Prix in his Haas. That looks like it's been a mechanical failure. We've got another safety car.
Too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
So has there been more carnage there then? Let's go on board and see what happened to Latifi. I think Latifi's actually dropped it on throttle out of turn 1 there, because you can see he's in the wall. And, yeah, Mick Schumacher, I mean, coming through there. So I think we might be able to see... Yeah, not too sure what's happened to Latifi, but out of the Grand Prix, not a mechanical failure there, and that is not what the Canadian would have wanted. But, yeah, for us now, though, it means we get a free pit stop in this race, effectively, although everyone else already has. May as well just go hard tyres now, though. It's all getting weird here in Le-Castellet, but we're going to box into this lap then, and see what it does to this race. I feel like every race I say this in the Williams RTG, we've no idea who we're battling with till right at the very end. Right, getting ready to come into the pits then at the end of lap 11 here. I think, yeah, everyone in the top 3 is going to do so. Just got to make sure we get it slowed down into the pit lane. But yeah, it looks like everyone then in this race, apart from Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll then, are all going to box in to the pit lane here. So this actually means we could still be right at the very front then. The pit lane is going to get very, very busy here at the French Grand Prix circuit. And I mean, of course, we got the last pit box as well, which is really, really ideal in these situations. They're 2.4, and look at that, we're ahead of so many cars here. I'm to P4 of the Grand Prix. We are in the net lead, because of course everyone out in front is going to have to pit again. We've still got Bottas and Norris behind us there, but look at, I mean, it's gutting as a safety car, because we could have had a good 6-7 second lead in this race. It's not going to happen, but yeah, that's why you want the last pit lane box. Right, well, safety car coming in again then as we cross towards the halfway stage of the GP. Hamilton in the lead now ahead of Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll, but of course they're all going to have to pit again before the end of the GP. So like I said, we are effectively in the net lead now of this race, and of course everyone else now on the same strategy. Russell, I think he's up in like net P5. It's looking really good at the moment for Williams. It's just a case of how few positions can we lose later on in the day. But as we round the final couple of corners, if ever I need to try and heat up the tyres, it would be now. We were given a bit of a lifeline last time round as we try and put the power down out of the final corner. Still not the best run in the world, but we'll see how long we can try and hang on for now. This race has got really, really weird, and I mean, as long as we don't get another safety car now, things could be on the upside for Williams once more. They've had a couple of well-timed safety cars this year, but again, Bottas is going to try and look for a move down the hill. Not quite close enough that time round to pull it off. Of course, yeah, I mean, Checo and Hamilton might not be out of this. With clear air and much fresher rubber for now, they might be able to sort of build up a 10-15 second margin that we then might not be able to do much about. Of course, when they do box, they might just have then the pace to storm back through the field here, and I think that's what Bottas is a bit worried about at the moment, as we need to be a bit conservative on the battery. Valtteri Bottas to the inside. Is he going to be able to pull off the move? He's going to be... no, in a word. He's going to sit there on the apex. And we'll... I mean, we're not just going to let cars by. We're going to have a fight with people if they're not going to pull off a move. Now Lando Norris going to have a look to the inside of Valtteri Bottas as we head down the second part of the Mistral Straight. Is he going to be able to pull off a move into effective P2 of the Grand Prix? I think he has. Lando Norris making a power move there. Up the inside of Valtteri Bottas and into net P2 of the GP. We're trying to stick in the DRS range of Sir Lancelot there as Perez and Hamilton have just kind of, yeah, Harry Potter meme wave goodbye at the front of the field. But yeah, we're doing well at the moment there, and now Lando behind us. Might be a bit of a rear gunner, but I don't think we're going to have much pace to hold off the McLaren. Could we finally have a non-Red Bull Mercedes win this season? Oh no, we already had Kimi, didn't we? I'm stupid. All over the back now of Lance Stroll here as Orlando just tried to show the nose, but I think he's watched Verstappen try it so many times earlier on that he definitely doesn't want to make that mistake as we try and get a run out onto the Mistral Straight. They're running a little bit wide on the way out, but we have got the DRS still on the Aston Martin, and that green car is going to get larger and larger in front of us as we look to the outside down the back straight, just about get it slowed down. And now we've put a car between myself and Lando Norris, albeit probably only for a few moments here, but that can be super, super useful. Intrigued to see when Hamilton and Checo are going to pit again. I reckon they might try and go to about lap 20 and then box onto a fresh set of softs, just so then they're rapid to the end. Otherwise, we'll probably see him in over the next couple of laps onto another set of mediums, just to safely make it through and have good long-term pace. And I guess I've just had that question answered for me with Hamilton. He's going immediately in. Are we seeing some split strategies by the front guys? As Stroll in as well, so we've lost our rear gunner immediately. But yeah, now up into net P2. Well, we're net still in the lead of the race. We're into actual P2. There we go. Sergio in at the end of lap 17 as we've got 10 laps to go now of the Grand Prix. We are going to inherit the lead here in France. And it feels like this has happened rather often in this series. We might be able to get the lead for one lap before a much faster car is going to overtake us here. I mean, look at this. Lando and Valtteri Bottas trying to get the run in towards one there. I think Lando again doesn't really want to send it, but we'll get onto the Mistral straight and I'm sure he's going to fly past me. Maybe we could try and battle it out for a podium with Tsunoda and Russell. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Out to the Mistral straight though. Not sure we're going to be able to do much against Lando Norris here. Not sure it's really worth doing much against Lando Norris either here. As you can see, look how quick that McLaren is down the straight. An absolute missile there, Lando Norris. But again, why do the AI keep braking so early into there when they're side by side with them? It's almost like they're worried they're going to bounce over the curb and run wide into you there. But I guess we defended the position kind of accidentally, but Lando Norris still unable to make a move work. Right, here we go then. Lando Norris again going to be able to have a look past us as we head down the back straightaway. Is he now going to be able to make the move work? Yeah, I think he is. He's going to get towards the racing line there. Brake at a sensible point that time round. And will now re-inherit the lead of this French Grand Prix there. Could McLaren be on for their first win in quite a while here as Valtteri Bottas, now the next car lining up behind us as Verstappen has muscled his way back up inside the top 5 there, making a move work on George Russell. Might not be able to battle it out for the podium by the end of this, but we're going to give it our all still. If we can stick in the DRS of Lando though, that would be rather nice. Just give ourselves a bit of room to fight from behind. Oh, Bottas again. The AI just trying to tip the nose in right at the last moment in towards a couple of the corners round here. There we do have a tiny bit of contact with the Mercedes.
By 2.1 seconds.
2 seconds clear of George at the moment, but yeah, really frustrating. In fact, the AI keep doing that in this race there, because I can't just assume they're going to jump out of the way there and throw myself away time. But I also don't really sort of want the contact, you know, the risk of a punch or anything like that. Very, very careful here as again. Why are you looking for a move there, Valtteri? Come on, just have some patience. You could have flown past me down the Mistral straight there. And now we might be under pressure from Yuki Tsunoda here as we're going to try and close in on Lando once more. They're just trying, you know, give ourselves the DRS for as many laps as possible. So yeah, we're going to be pretty close still behind Lando. Maybe we might have the pace by the end. This Williams has always been pretty handy on older, harder tyres. Let's never say never. Engine warning light has just come on, so I think for Austria we're going to have to put some fresh components in the car. But yeah, now with the DRS from Lando, finding a lot of pace here. This is just how OP the DRS is around a track like the Castellet. You can easily have a car that's about a second a lap slower, like we were in qualifying, and still be able to match the car in front, just due to the two big zones. Yeah, we really aren't losing anything to Lando Norris at the moment there, as I think Bottas is getting a bit frustrated by it. And I'm starting to wonder whether, you know, maybe if we save up a little bit of battery, might be able to go on the offensive late on in the day here. But yeah, I'm pretty certain at the moment we've got pace to keep with Lando, rather than actually make any moves on him. We can't get close enough out onto the back straightaway there. But Verstappen and Tsunoda now have traded places. So Verstappen in P4. Is he going to be able to close up to Valtteri here? This could be a critical gain of points that Verstappen needs over both Mercedes there. He's kind of fighting against them by himself as Checo has been unlucky, but also hasn't had the pace this year. But 5 laps to go here from LE-CASTELLET. Could we be on for a second podium in a row? Things falling into place a lot for Williams. 4 laps to go then here from the French GP. And now Lando Norris is really, really pushing to try and stretch his advantage at the front. I think he almost feels like he's under pressure from us still at the moment. He's just starting to lean on the car a bit more, you know, sort of kicking out the back end here and there.
Right,
our tyres are starting to fade.
Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire.
No, don't want to hear that at the moment. What is the wear up to on the MG UK? 61%, as that was a big snap of oversteer there. Going to pick up a warning for that one, and that might just give Valtteri Bottas the run. No. Again, rather than trying to play the patience scheme and get the run out onto the straight, Bottas trying to look for a desperate lunge to the inside there as Hamilton now new fastest lap.
Keep taking care of them.
I think Hamilton's pit twice since the safety car then. Not too sure what's going on down at Mercedes, but he's definitely not picking up points today then. But yeah, Lando now still just trying to hang on in front. Bottas getting desperate behind, and our car just starting to fall away. Could we see three Mercedes powered cars, sorry, from 3 different teams on the podium, though? Not too sure how often that happens in Formula 1. We are trying desperately to hang on with Lando Norris at the moment there, but look at the run Bottas has got now to the inside. The Finn is going to have a look. Oh, we run horribly deep on the brakes there, just about keep it near the circuit, and we will defend as Russell, no, our teammate out of the French Grand Prix there, and that could have been some good points on the board and a big confidence builder for our teammate Lando Norris there. Sorry, for George Russell even, I should say. That's not good. Can't even remember my own teammate's name. But yeah, Lando Norris, though, still leads the way, and he's now built up the gap over 1 second on myself there, so we might be under threat from Bottas and, of course, Max Verstappen before this race comes to an end. Just over 2 laps to go.
Is out of the race.
I cannot believe George Russell out of the GP there, but now I'm getting a bit worried that the floodgates might start to open. We got Bottas, Verstappen and Ricciardo all now maybe about to line up for a move as our battery is just not able to hold a charge. Bottas is out! What's going on in this race? Valtteri Bottas now out of the race as well. So one of the guys still in the championship hunt, 3 DNFs, if I'm not mistaken, in a row for the Finn there, and a heartbreak for him, and that now means Gasly's out as well. What's going on? 3 failures in a lap here. This has been a crazy race. 15 cars left in the running at the moment. It's all kicking off late on here in Le-Castellet, but just under 2 laps to go now. Lando Norris looks set to win this thing.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
What on earth is happening here from Paul Ricard? Maybe if everything fell into place, McLaren could be on for a 1-2. Right, we're winding the final corners then, about to start the last lap of the French GP there, and Lando Norris still leads the way. Could it be his first win of the new season? I don't think he won a race last year. I want to believe this would be his first win in the Williams Road to Glory,
Final lap of the race.
as we've desperately just got to try and keep Verstappen at bay on this last lap there. The Red Bull knows this is a huge chance for him now. I mean, he's going to gain massive points over Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas here and launch himself right back in to top championship contention here. Just, it seems to be one of those seasons where Mercedes have got the pace, but Max Verstappen just not making any errors early on in this campaign. They got a bit lucky today, of course, had to pit for front wing damage after contact with myself there, but of course this late safety car really sort of brought him back into the picture. As Verstappen gaining on me, we're going to completely deploy the battery as we head down the first part of the Mistral straight there, because I don't think down the second part he's going to be close enough to try and get a run, especially, of course, without the DRS there. Big kick of oversteer as we try to put the power down, and that might let the Red Bull gain on me. Look at that! The Red Bull and Max Verstappen gaining as we head through turn 10 there. And are we going to be able to try and hang on in this race? Are we going to see another late lunge from Max Verstappen? We might have to try and defend the inside in a couple of places here, as we know what the Dutchman can be like in a Formula 1 car. Always going to take the opportunities, as that's what I mean. A quick send to the inside from the Dutchman there. Is he going to be able to put the power down? We're going to try and hang on as we head in towards the final few corners of the French Grand Prix there. Just park it in the middle of the road. Don't allow him to the inside there. Lando Norris, though, rounds the final corner. He's going to take the win as Ricciardo gets the run on Verstappen there, but we come through for P2.
Yes, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. Great drive. Thank you.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for McLaren. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, you know what they say, to finish first you have to finish. And that fact was clear today, with lots of retirements having a big effect on the outcome of the race. As a driver, you tend to keep reliability concerns to the back of your mind and just focus on what's in front of you. But for the teams, races like this can be very stressful.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we go then, the end of the French Grand Prix, and Lando Norris back on top with McLaren there. Absolutely what you love to see. We come through for P2 from 15th on the grid, made the one-stop strategy work ahead of the likes of Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda there. With Ricciardo in P3, Verstappen in 4th. But yeah, we needed that big result after both Alpines did really, really well this weekend there. Tsunoda, like I said, in 5th ahead of Perez and Sainz there. Ocon down in 8th ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Lance Stroll there picks up the final point. But Hamilton, I said with just a few laps to go he wasn't going to score anything. He almost managed to bring that Mercedes back inside the top 10 there, but won't get the fastest lap bonus point either, finishing out ahead of Charles Leclerc, Mazepin, Schumacher, and Antonio Giovinazzi there. But what went on late on in the day? Bottas, Gasly, and Russell all with mechanical failures there. Latifi and Vettel bottling it earlier on, I should say, in the GP. But that means championship-wise, Hamilton, that gap at the top's come down to just 6 points there. So had Verstappen made the move work on me and hadn't lost the place to Ricciardo, it would have been all square at the top of the championship. Bottas still 24 points back there, and Sergio Perez has just quietly sort of snuck himself back up towards the front runners there. Ricciardo still in 5th ahead of Lando Norris there, now ahead of Pierre Gasly. We now jump Sainz up into 8th place with 49 points on the board there. Pretty happy with this run of form at the moment. There's Tsunoda again, another man that's just picked up good consistent points week in, week out there, up inside the top 10 now, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen there. Ocon ahead now of our teammate and Sebastian Vettel. And constructors wise, Mercedes now just 10 points ahead of Red Bull there. McLaren solid in at P3, but we're only 3 points now behind Ferrari there, but still not really pushing out any advantage over Alpine at this stage of the campaign there. Thank you all so much for watching this video though. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with round 9 of the year. We head to the Styrian Mountains. We'll be back ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.